What's up, everybody? It's your host Dadbod here, and welcome back to Bloodborne. So in the last episode, we took down the blood-starved beast, and we made our way into Yahar'gul Unseen Village, and we killed some pigs, and we fried some bacon, and it was juicy and delicious. In this episode, we are going to make our way into the Cathedral Ward proper. We're going to get some good loot and some good items along the way as well. So you'll notice I've been kind of saving up my blood echoes, and there is actually a good reason for that. And we're going to find out more about that right now. So we are headed back to the Cathedral Ward. And you'll remember that door that opened up after we beat the blood-starved beast. We did go in it, and we kind of went up the elevator. We went sort of halfway up it and took a secret way out before that we got to the top. And we got a secret item up there. But then we didn't go any further that direction. So now we are going to continue that direction and see what is in store for us. And let me tell you, it is good. Okay, so here we are in the Cathedral Ward. There's our friendly old lady, or maybe not so friendly old lady. So we're going to go through this door. Now beware, the elevator, since we've already taken it up, is not going to be waiting for us. If you run down there, that is a death. Ask me how I know. So make sure you pull the lever to get the elevator back down. It'll come right back down for you. And then we are going to ride it all the way to the top. So now you're going to see a treasure chest right in front of us, but beware, there is a guy in a wheelchair with a Gatling gun right there. Gotta love these traps. All you gotta do though is if you anticipate him, you can just run right behind him and get a pretty easy kill, so not that bad. Inside of the treasure chest, we have the Communion rune. So yet another rune for us to look at. Again, we can't even equip these yet, but we do have a few of them. So this increases our max blood vial stock that we can hold with us by 1. So instead of carrying 20, we'd be able to carry 21 if we had this rune equipped. What it says is a secret symbol left by Carol, the runesmith of Bergenworth. Several runes relate to blood, including Communion, which raises the maximum number of blood vials one may carry. This rune represents the healing church and its ministers. Blood ministration is, of course, the pursuit of communion. Okay. So if you want some extra blood vials, sometimes that can make or break you. Alright, the best thing to do is just run across this bridge because there's snipers up there that are going to get you if you go too slow. And you'll see we've entered the Healing Church Workshop. So let's get this guy one-on-one. So this is a new area for us, and it is an area of some importance. And this is only an area that you can get to if you have killed the blood-starved beast. If you never killed the blood-starved beast, you're never going to get here because that door will not open. So let's get this guy out here, lure him, get an easy kill. There are several enemies in here, including this one right around the corner, waiting to get you. This guy here with a gun, attack him preemptively, and then watch out for these guys because they're going to come chasing after you. At least one of them will after you get the guy in the gun. If you approach this correctly, you shouldn't have to fight more than 1 or 2 of these at a time, so just make sure you don't rush into the room and get all of them on you at once, because if you do, it's probably not going to end well for you. We're actually going to circle around this place long ways on this level because I believe there's a skull head over here. There is. We want to get him before he goes down. Come on! Oh, he did fall down, but that's okay because we're going to go down there later. So we'll get the item when we get down there. But first, we're going to go up. Reason for that is once you drop down, you can't go back up. But when you go up, you can get back down. So we're going to go up to the top first, and let's not miss this treasure chest right here. In here, we have a blood-tinged gemstone, tier 2. You'll notice some of these coffins here are chained up. And not only in here, you'll see these all around, even Central Yarnum and some other places too. It just makes you wonder, do they not want you to get in? Or do they not want something to get out? Oof. Alright, so up here, there's going to be another Gatling gun guy and another guy with a cutlass. I managed to hit them both at the same time and get out of the way, so not take any hits, but that can be tough to navigate, but just know that if that Gatling gun gets a good lick on you, it's not going to feel good. It might even kill you, so just make sure you kind of take care of him before he has a chance. Now out here, around this corner, there's going to be a troll. I want to make sure we get his attention, because we don't want to fight him on this ledge. We definitely want to fight him in that room. I don't know where he went, but he's usually out here. So make sure you take care of these guys. Don't let them shoot you. There he is. Alright, so let's fight him back here in the room. We don't want to fight him on that little ledge. So we'll lure him in here, and you know the drill. You know the drill. It hasn't changed, at least not yet. Soon enough, we'll be able to one-shot these guys with just kind of our regular attacks, but we have not reached that point yet. Alright, so here we go. Get this guy. Now, this guy with the rifle, oof, he packs some damage, so make sure you watch out for his attack and don't let him get you. Okay, so we got some tier 6 cold blood. Awesome. Let's climb the ladder. Up, up we go. And so around this side, there's no item, but there is a shiny little lore note here on the ground. So let's look at it. The sky and the cosmos are one. Quote, the choir. So the choir is another, I guess, organization within the Healing Church. They're actually one of the highest up organizations. So if you're a part of the choir, the members who are in the choir are some of the most esteemed members of the Healing Church. So here we have some more tier 6 cold blood. So yeah, the choir, the School of Mensis, and then of course, you know, your church leadership, your vicars and things like that, we're all at the very top of the Healing Church. So in here you'll notice there's two guys. There's a wheelchair guy way there in the back. There's a wheelchair guy right there. And I don't know if you can barely see him there in the shadows. There's another guy with the cutlass. So first thing you want to do is run behind this guy because he has a flamethrower. Get him. Then of course the guy with the cutlass is going to pursue you. Get him. And then this other guy in the wheelchair is going to roll down at you. You want to get behind him because if you stay in front of him, he's going to get you with that fire. And that is not good for us. So we took care of all of them, and of course all these guys in the wheelchair. They drop Quicksilver bullets for us. So in here, this treasure chest, something we want. The Radiant Sword Hunter badge. So let's take a look at this. One of the badges crafted by the Healing Church, the Radiant Sword, indicates the heirs to the will of Ludwig. These hunters, also known as Holy Blades, are what remains of an ancient line of heroes that date back to a very early age of honor and chivalry. So, we go over here, we see another door. I'm sure you know what it is. It is locked, of course. We're going to be coming back here later. Just a little bit on the lore here. So, that mentioned the Healing Church Hunters, the badge we just read, and our friend Ludwig. So, if you remember back to Gehrman he's the founder of the Hunter's Workshop. He is the first hunter, and back in his day, make sure, by the way, when you're going down this ladder that you do not, when you get to the bottom, that if you're holding down on the left stick, you're going to run right off the edge and die. Ask me how I know. Anyway, so Gehrman was the first hunter, and back in those days, the Scourge of the Beast had just kind of gotten started in Yharnam, and it was more unknown, and it was pretty much under the radar at that point in time. So in that era, the Gehrman and his folks would go out and hunt at night under the cover of night, and the hunting ritual was kind of it wasn't known about. It was more or less a secret. The citizens of Yharnam were not really keen on what was going on at the time. Here we go. There's that skullhead we just killed. Got some twin bloodstone shards. Nice. And so eventually the word got out. Eventually the word of the Scourge of the Beast got out, and people kind of knew about it. They didn't know that the blood was causing it. I think the church may have known, but the people did not know that the blood was causing it. And at that point, hunting became more of a out in the open sort of thing rather than under the cover of dark. So that's when Ludwig and his crew came in. The Gehrman and the Hunter's Workshop kind of phased out a little bit, and then that's more when the Hunters, the Healing Church Hunters, became more part of the Healing Church rather than just kind of a separate organization with Gehrman. And so Ludwig and his Hunters were more out in the open, and their weapons were a little bit more flashy. So that badge we just got allows us to pick up some of those weapons. So down here, don't know if we can see it. Not really. I can show it from a different angle. There's actually a place we're going to want to drop down there in a bit. We're not going to do it yet because there's some items over here that we want to get first. But I will show you what we're going to get down there too. So there it is. You'll see, if you look down, there's a door. It's actually very easy to miss. A lot of people miss it. It is a secret, but the problem is if you drop down here to get these items, you can't then go back up and drop down to the door. So we're actually going to have to warp out of here, come back, and then we're going to drop down to that door and get the secret. So let's see. We want to drop down here. And we're just doing this for a couple items that are available to us. So right here, this is kind of tricky to get, but you have to line yourself up perfectly and then just doop, walk right off the edge. So here I have the messenger top hat. This is just another one of those messenger attire items that you can equip on the messengers, and this is actually the one that I like. So this is the one that I'm going to put on. I don't know why, I just think the messengers look funny and kind of maybe even classy with the top hat on. So I do like putting the top hat on. And it doesn't look as grotesque as like the bloodied bandages that we have and things like that. So I do like the messenger top hats quite a bit. So I'll show you what that's all about. So we have another item down here that we can drop down. Be very careful. And it is a madman's knowledge. So be careful. We can, if you can see the floor there, we are actually going to get down there. I do not believe there's a way to drop down from here. There might be if you land right on that ledge, if you can see it. It might be too dark for you to see, but in this case, we're actually, because we do want to get to that door, which is now above us. If I can even, I don't know if I can pan around and see it at this angle, but anyway, there is a door that we want to get to that I showed you earlier. So we're actually going to use ourselves a bold hunter's mark, and we're going to come back. And since we're using a bold hunter's mark, we are going to take this opportunity to go back to the Hunter's Dream, and I'm going to show you what this Radiant Sword Hunter's badge is all about and why we've been saving up so many blood echoes, because currently we're at more than 30,000, and that is more than we want at risk for sure. So let's go on and return to the Hunter's Dream. Let's not push our luck. Generally that's something you don't want to do in this game, is you don't want to push your luck. The game just kind of has its way of knowing when you're pushing your luck, and it punishes you for it. So here we are back in the Hunter's Dream. We have a new badge, which means new items and weapons from the messenger shop. So let's see if we have new items. So now we can buy Bone Marrow Ash, which provides a buff to your firearm. We can buy Bloodstone Shards and Tier 1 Ritual Blood. Hunter Chief Emblem, which you don't want. And here we have it, Ludwig's Holy Blade for 20,000 blood echoes. Requires 16 strength and 12 skill. We want it, so we're going to buy it. So now we can also get Ludwig's Rifle, which I'm not really keen on buying expensive guns because really all I use it for is parrying. We can buy the Tomb Prospector armor set. Just kind of looking at the stats of it, you know, it's actually in some ways weaker than what we have currently equipped. The Charred Hunter garb, which is what we currently have on. So it does better in some regards, but not others. In my opinion, it does really good arcane defense, but in my opinion, it's just not worth shelling out the massive amount of blood echoes for something that's marginally, if at all, any better than what we currently are wearing. So that is what we wanted. We wanted that Ludwig's Holy Blade. So we're going to actually replace our Kirk Hammer with Ludwig's Holy Blade. Let's see what it says. A trick weapon used by the Healing Church Hunters. Again, the Healing Church Hunters were Ludwig's crew. It's not, that was this. These guys came after Gehrman's. Gehrman's crew were kind of superseded. It is said that the silver sword was employed by Ludwig, the first hunter of the church. When transformed, it combines with its sheath to form a greatsword. The Healing Church workshop began with Ludwig and departed from old Gehrman's techniques to provide hunters with the means to hunt more terrifying beasts and perhaps things still worse. Alright, so let's put it on. Oops, we still have the Kirk hammer equipped. Let's put... There we go. There we go. So this is what I'm going to be using for most of the game. And this is, you know, one of the most powerful weapons in the game throughout the whole game, actually. And so it is very good, especially if you're a beginner to use. But it's also fun to use just in any normal case, even if you're experienced. Now, if you transform it, as the description said, you combine the sword with its sheath to form a great sword. Now, this weapon looks like something you might even find in like a Final Fantasy game or something like that. It is very powerful, very worth your while, and it has some really good attacks. Very good against most bosses in the game. So we're going to actually upgrade it as far as we can at this point. If we have any upgrade materials here, we do have some. So we're going to use it on Ludwig's. There we go. We're going to get this thing higher than our saw cleaver. Well, we're going to... Let's put our saw cleaver to +4 as well, because we're actually going to use a saw cleaver on the next boss. Okay, so we have a +4 Ludwig's and a +4 saw cleaver. Good deal. Alright, let's put some blood gems on this thing. Okay, physical attack up +0.7. That's really all we got. So that's what we'll use. Okay, I think that's it. We might as well see if we can get a level while we're at it.
I must have drifted off.
Sleeping on the job.
What is it you desire? Very well, let me stand.
Alright. Yep, we can get at least one level. So you'll see that this weapon does scale pretty well with strength. One level is going to get us 3 extra points on Ludwig's. So we'll go ahead and do some strength. And, you know, we're going to use some of our stored up cold blood to get some more levels. We've got a lot. We've got a frenzied at tier 8. That's our best. So let's use all these tier 1s and tier 2s. And you can use multiple of them at the same time. That gave us an extra 1,000. All of our tier 2s, we've got 6 of them. Gave us 3,000. Let's see here. Let's use all of our tier 3. See what that gets us.
Welcome. Very well.
Okay, so we got enough for 2 levels. So we'll put 1 into Vitality and 1 into Endurance. And that gets us to level 30, which is very good for where we're at right now. So,
farewell, good hunter.
We spent almost all of our blood echoes. And you'll see why we went ahead and did that. Because there is a little bit of risk with what we're going to do next. There's a high probability of messing up and falling off. I have definitely done it before, and I may do it again, but we'll see. But if I do, we're not going to have a whole heck of a lot at risk. So if it happens, it happens, and it will not be the end of the world. So we're going to arrive back in the Cathedral Ward, and we're going to go back up our elevator. Just make sure you remember to bring it back down. Do not run in that hole. You will die. Okay. Up, up, and away we go. And this guy will respawn in the wheelchair, so just make sure you're ready for him. I'm going to show off Ludwig's Holy Blade. It is a great sword when in this form, so it is a little bit slower, so you just have to be cognizant of that. It does do a hefty amount of damage. If I need a weapon in its quick form, I actually do prefer to use a saw cleaver as opposed to Ludwig's in its unsheathed state. Generally, I will run around with it in its sheathed state. So we did take some damage. Let's heal up. Just a quick comparison on what our 2 weapons do. So our Ludwig's is now at 186, and our saw cleaver is at 158. So our Ludwig's is a little bit more powerful. Alright, so if you drop down onto this thing, if you do it right, you won't take any damage. So you drop down on this thing first, and then drop down to here. If you do that right, you won't receive any damage. So what we're doing is, before we went up, now we're going down. And, you know, the first time we went down all the way there. The second time we're gonna try to get to that door. So the way you get there is you'll see these ropes that are hanging right in front of us. Well, at the bottom of those ropes is a platform. So the way you get down here, it's tricky. You're going to want to kind of position yourself right here and then roll right into those ropes. You know, this game is certainly not... I missed it. See, that's why we spent all of our blood echoes. The thing about this game is some things are hard to get to, and this game is clearly not designed for platforming. It does not make platforming easy, but sometimes it makes you do some platforming, and despite the clunkiness of it, it just is what it is. You got to make it work. Okay, so hopefully we'll get it this time. It happens. It has happened to me before, and it will surely happen again. Because I died, my lantern is unequipped, so I'll put that back on. We're waiting for the elevator, and of course, our friendly Gatling gun guy is up and ready for us yet again. So let's get him. And this thing, I should point out, not in a combat situation. The charge attack is a thrust, and that is pretty nice in a lot of situations. It gives you a little bit of extra range. So we're just gonna run by these guys. There's no need to fight them all. As long as you run by them, they're not gonna hurt you. Whoop, he might. Oof, we almost fell down. So heal up, because we're going to take some fall damage. Even if we hit it correctly, we're going to take some fall damage, but it's not going to kill us. All right, let's try this again. I think what happened is if you see that little piece of wood right there sticking out, it knocks you over if you roll into it. So watch out for that. Okay, let's just run off, not roll off. Okay, so I think running off in the right spot is the way to go, not rolling off. And you'll see we did take a bit of damage there. Just absorbing the fall, so make sure you top off your health, because you don't want to die just from falling. So right here, this takes us to our door, and we did take some more damage doing that. And this door is a secret. A lot of people miss it, but you can open it, much unlike the other ones. We're going to walk in here, and we're going to get some insight. The abandoned old workshop. Let's have a little look around. And if you notice, it looks a lot like the Hunter's Dream. That is because the Hunter's Dream is modeled after the old workshop. This is Gehrman's old stomping grounds. This is where Gehrman did his work. And of course, Gehrman presides over the Hunter's Dream, and so, you know, there's your connection. So inside of this chest here, we have the doll armor set. You put it on, you're going to look pretty much exactly like the doll. So up these little steps here, we have another item for us. This is the old hunter bone. This is the first of what the game would call our hunter tools. And hunter tools are unlimited use, however they do consume quicksilver bullets. So this one consumes 4 per use, and it does require 15 arcane to use. We can't use it yet because we only have 6 arcane, and I'm not going to be upgrading my arcane stat until later. However, if you want to experiment with it and put some arcane on, you are more than welcome to do that, but it will be at the expense of other stats that I am upgrading currently. And what the old hunter bone does is it increases your dodge capability. So instead of rolling like our dodge does, it basically warps you. You disappear in a poof of smoke, and then you reappear in a puff of smoke on the other side, and it allows you to dodge very quickly. It is very good in PvP. It is also very useful against just regular enemies and bosses as well. And there are some NPC hunters that we're going to face later on in the game that do have the ability to use the old hunter's bone, so we'll see what it looks like with them as well. Alright, so let's carry on. In here, we have a lamp. Always good to have a lamp. So we can warp back here. And look here, we have the doll. Now it's not animated like it is in the Hunter's Dream, but it's there. And here we have a very important item. 1/3 of umbilical cord. Now this is an item that will impact what ending you get. It is very important. My advice to you, if you want to get all 3 endings on one playthrough, the only way to do it is to load a save, to back up a save, get one of the endings, and then reload that save, and then you know, at that point you can get any of the other endings if you have the correct items to do so. The endings are driven by a choice you make at the very end of the game. So if you get to that point, it's good to create a backup save. You want to get all 3 endings. In order to get all 3 endings, you need 3 of these 1/3 umbilical cords. There's actually 4 of them in the game, and we're going to get all 4. But you need 3 of them. And the reason why you don't want to consume them yet is because if you consume them when you get them, then you're going to lock yourself out of one of the endings. So let's read it. A great relic, also known as the cord of the eye. Every infant great one has this precursor to the umbilical cord. Every great one loses its child and then yearns for a surrogate. The 3rd umbilical cord precipitated the encounter with the pale moon, which beckoned the hunters and conceived the hunter's dream. Used to gain insight, and so they say, eyes on the inside, although no one remembers what that truly entails. So if you use this item, you're actually going to get 3 insight. And there's some very interesting lore implications with this item. So it says every great one loses its child and then yearns for a surrogate. So the great ones themselves are not able to have children within themselves. So what they do is they need actually a human surrogate to have a child. And so there are some things we're going to come across later in this game that allude to that, and that are kind of central to the story of this game. And then it also talks a little bit about the hunter's dream and what conceived the hunter's dream. The cord precipitated the encounter with the pale moon, which beckoned the hunters and conceived the hunter's dream. So, as we know, Gehrman was a hunter, and he seems to be maybe even kind of stuck within the hunter's dream, and maybe it's a great one that has kind of compelled him to do so, or maybe even forces him to do so. And, you know, we'll learn a little bit more about that as we go on through the game as well. So very interesting, very mysterious, but we have one now, and we're going to get some more as we go on through the game. So here we have this lamp. Over here we have the small hair ornament. That's actually an item that we can give to the doll in the hunter's dream. And so yeah, this is very cool. You know, you see the connection to, you know, a place we've gone many times, and it actually exists in the real world as well. Pretty much an exact replica. So let's go ahead and, speaking of which, let's go back to the hunter's dream. And let's do a couple things before we move forward. I do want to show you the messenger top hat. And before we do that, so let's go talk to the doll.
Welcome home. What is it?
And we can give her the small hair ornament that we just got.
What? What is this? I can't remember. Not a thing, only I feel a yearning, something I never felt before. What's happening to me? Tell me, Hunter. Could this be joy?
Okay, we got the Tear Stone. So that is an item that we can see here. Silver Shining Tear Stone, used to change into a droplet blood gem that fortifies any weapon. The doll sheds neither blood nor tears, and thus its nature remains unknown. Whoever thinks this is precious must be troubled by severe naivete. Alright, so this is something we can use. We use it, it transformed into a blood gem. We have the Tear Blood Gem. Okay. Let's take a look at the Insight Shop. It's been a while since we've been back there. Okay, awesome. Since we do have the Radiant Sword Hunter's badge, we can now purchase fire paper from the Insight Shop from one low, easy payment of 1 insight. So let's go ahead and pick up a couple extra. It's pretty cheap, and we're going to be using them on the next boss as well. Alright. Okay, let's see here. Let's see what that blood gem does that we just got from the doll. To be honest, I cannot remember. Let's see. HP recovers. So this is an HP recovery item. So it basically gives you a regen effect if you have it on your weapon. I'd rather have the damage, so I'm just going to leave it as is. Okay, let's go back. Actually, I'm going to show you some things here. You'll notice here we have the unseen headstone because we did get that one lamp in the Hypogean jail when we were there. So this will warp us back to that lamp. When we will use it when we go back to fight Dark Beast Parl. And also this can take us back to the abandoned old workshop, which is where we're going to warp back to when we do warp back. So that's how these headstones work. When you kind of get to new-ish areas of the game, it unlocks new headstones that you can use to warp. So this is more or less Yharnam and direct surrounding areas, and then there's some other ones here that we're going to be using later in the game as well. Before we do that, I did want to show you how you can equip those items on the messengers. And Gehrman is out here. He's sleeping.
Oh, Lawrence, what's taking you so long? I've grown too old for this. Of little use now, I'm afraid. Oh.
Yeah, he doesn't seem all that happy. Rumor has it he is here against his will. Okay, so here is the Stump Messenger, and this is where you can give the accessories to the messenger and they will adorn them. So we have the top hat, the bloody bandage, the urns, and you can leave them unadorned. I like to give them the top hats. I don't know why. They just look classy. Alright, so we'll leave that on. You can put whatever you want on them if you've been picking up these items along the way as well. Alright, so that's it for the Hunter's Dream for now. Let's go back to the abandoned old workshop. Gehrman's old stomping grounds. And let's proceed. So the workshop itself is a dead end, but you can also go back out the door you came in and then continue dropping down that little, I guess, cylinder area that we were in before. Kind of go to the basement of that tower. Okay, let's just make sure we clean up. That's where our insight shop would be. I think we got everything in here. Yep, there's where our headstones would be. Very interesting. Interesting little nugget in this game that comes as a surprise. Alright, so we're going back the way we came, back to the Healing Church workshop. And we can use this to drop down further all the way to the bottom. Something just died and we got some blood echoes, but I don't know what. So down there you're going to see there's a beast. That's not an ordinary beast that we've been fighting. This one is a lot stronger. So we're going to be sneaky. All right, let's roll over here onto this thing. Let's drop down to the bottom, top off our health, and sneak up on this beast over here. You guessed it. Backstab, charge attack, and visceral is the secret sauce. And you can't lock onto him, but there's no way to befriend him. He is hostile. Alright. There we go. That took care of him. If you find yourself in a fight with him, he's not easy, but he is very beatable at this point in the game. Alright, so we got the Beast Rune. Let's see what that's all about. Boost effect, temporary boost to transform. A secret symbol left by Carol, runesmith the Bergenworth, a transcription of the roar of a labyrinth beast. The bearer of the Beast Rune has accentuated temporary transformation effects. Beast is one of the early Carol runes, as well as one of the first to be deemed forbidden. The discovery of blood entailed the discovery of undesirable beasts. Okay, so this increases your beast stat. I don't ever really use this rune, but I believe it also comes into play if you use a Beast Blood Pellet, because the Beast Blood Pellet also taps into your beast stat. But essentially, as I mentioned with before, the effects of the Beast Blood Pellet is is it as that meter increases, it raises your attack power, but then decreases your defense. So over here we have an NPC.
A night of curses. A night to remember. Wouldn't you say, friend?
Sure. Okay, so we're going to go around these streets. We're gonna do it very carefully because there are enemies lurking. Some of them are dogs. We have some crows right here. Crows are just easier to take down by using quick attacks. And here we have the rumpled Yharnam hat and sweaty clothes. Some armor you can equip. Not very good armor. Here we have dogs. So let's take these on before going any further. Are there any more? And you see there's a snatcher over there. We don't want to get his attention because we want to backstab him. I think there's some hunters roaming these, not hunters, but Yharnamites roaming these streets here. Alright, there we go. Let's do a jump attack. Oh, he's still alive somehow. Got a rally damage back and a blood vial, which we're going to use. Alright, so now we take care of those guys. Let's go back over here to our friendly snatcher. And we're going to do the old backstab shuffle. You do not want him to turn around and get anything on us. Oh gosh, there's dogs coming. Not good. Not good. Alright, let's get out of here. We did kill we did kill the snatcher, but got a bunch of other people's attention. But I'd rather have it this way than the other alternative of getting all these enemies first and then having the snatcher chase, or yeah, having the snatcher chase us. Oh gosh. Alright, let's get our rally damage back. There we go. Not too bad. We do have some extra range with this weapon as opposed to the saw cleaver, and it does hit a little bit harder, especially since we're using it in its transformed state. Of course, it does more damage in this form than it does in this form. The trade-off is, you know, your attack speed. Okay, so the Snatcher dropped some Twin Bloodstone shards for us. And over here, we have some Madman's Knowledge. So all these streets are intertwined. They kind of loop around, and you know, this is where we just were before. That is the way up. But first, we're going to go over here, and there's an item waiting for us. And another new kind of enemy that we have not seen. This enemy that you see over here is called a Brain Sucker. And the reason they're called a Brain Sucker is because these are the enemies where if you're not careful, they have a grab attack, where if they use it on you, they will steal insight from you. So we're going to sneak up behind it, and we can't truly get a stealth attack on it, but we did get a charge attack because he wasn't ready for us. Got some Quicksilver bullets, and a Fire Blood Gemstone. So this is a crescent-shaped blood gemstone. The first one I think we've received at this point. And so those would go into, if you have a weapon with a crescent slot, you can equip that blood gemstone into the crescent slot. So yeah, those brain suckers, we did kind of sneak up on them and catch them off guard and got a charge attack one shot on them. If they do have a grab attack where if they grab you, they're going to basically reach into your brain and do some damage, of course, but also take away some of your insight. And you do not get your insight back when you kill them. Your insight's gone if they get it from you. So here we go up this elevator, and this takes us to the Cathedral Ward. And now we are behind those gates that we came across that were once locked. And the only way to get up here is actually through that back route we took through the door in Untitled Chapter. So if you don't go this way, there's no other way to get this ledge, and there's no other way to get that item. But here we are. We can drop down. And there's one of our gates that's locked. So we can pull the lever. And one thing I also ought to mention is when using Ludwig's in its two-handed sheathed form, it is of course a two-handed weapon, so that means that you cannot use your gun at the same time as using Ludwig's blade in its sheathed form. So you see we're using both hands. So what that means is if you press L2, you have an overhead slam attack that you can do as opposed to being able to fire a weapon. If you want to use your weapon, only way to do that is to unsheath. So here we are. This area should look familiar. And you'll see we hit these guys a lot harder now to the point where we can stun them. With our saw cleaver, they could just attack through our attacks. Our attacks didn't stun them at all. Bloodwigs, especially in the two-handed form, it does quite a bit of stun to where you can just attack them and they can't really hit us because we keep on stunning them with our attacks. So now this links back. Of course, if you go down there you have Odin's Chapel. And so now we have this gate unlocked. So we are going to work our way over here. And I think somewhere around here there's going to be dogs. First, we have a Thick Cold Blood Tier 5. And another one of those giants. Here's the dog. I knew there were dogs. Whoops. That guy up there has a repeating pistol. Yep. That's pretty nasty. And here we have another giant dude. He's not really going to follow you down to the edge of the end of the stairs here. But I don't feel good about taking him on with that guy firing at us with the repeating pistol. Is he going to go back up? No, he's not. So we can pull this lever and open up this gate. So let's go on and go through here. Remember, you see more of these giants roaming around here, and lucky for us, there's a lot of Madman's Knowledge dropped around here. All of these items are going to be Madman's Knowledge. And there's 2 of these guys roaming around here. Obviously, I'm going to take these things on one at a time. Fortunately, they move pretty slow. Ugh, but we just hit a tombstone. That's not good. Did not connect with the enemy. Roll through his attack, get a charge attack on him, do almost half his health. Pretty nice. So these guys are much easier to kill now than they were before. So you can see our leveling up and our choice of weapons is paying off in no small way. So here's one more over here that we're going to get. Charge attack, dodge. Whoops, did not dodge. But we'll get back and heal up before we re-engage. Alright. Charge attack. And then you can change your charge attack with another R2 and get that overhead slam combo, which is very nice. I do use it quite a bit. So some more Madman's Knowledge around here. This area, technically accessible, but it's a dead end unless you've killed the next boss, which you haven't, and there's another brain sucker over here, so just make sure you're aware of it. Get your... Ooh! Fortunately, he didn't grab us. I ran out of stamina there. Alright. Let's do a thrust. These things are weak to thrust. Alright, let's take care of this crow. And we're not going to go down there just yet, because it's dead end. We're going to waste our time and just have to turn back around. And there is an item back here that we want. Twin Bloodstone Shards. Okay. So, I think that's it for this little area over here. Nothing else back here. So let's go down here. We're going to see another one of these guys. I'll just do it the old-fashioned way. Oh, he's got a flame sprayer. I can't do it the old-fashioned way. Whoops, what am I doing? So we're going to have to get behind him. So you see that flame sprayer does quite a bit of damage. Alright. Before we go down there, we're going to get this item. Beware of the crows. Let's top off our health. Okay. And go down here. There's another item. More Thick Cold Blood. And here we go. Here we have it. The gate that would not open without the Hunter's Chief emblem. So we just got behind it, and we opened it from behind. So now we have both of those gates that were blocking us before are now open, because we were able to get behind it via that door that opened from killing the Bloodstarred Beast. And we saved ourselves 10,000 Blood Echoes from buying the Hunter's Chief emblem just to open that gate. Same end, we still got through it. Just did it for free. Alright, so this one we're going to kill the old-fashioned way. Oh, come on. There we go. Easy peasy. Quicksilver bullets. Poison knives. These are nifty. Let's see. We'll unequip our pungent blood cocktails. Let's put our poison knives on. So these, as the name would imply, inflict poison. So you throw them like a regular throwing knife, but these ones will inflict poison if the enemy that you're throwing them at is weak against poison. So let's continue down here. Beware, there are enemies in this alleyway. I don't know if any of them are currently pursuing us. Doesn't look like it. You see these more chained up coffins. Alright, so we got some NPCs, and these are people that we can actually take to the chapel, so let's do that.
Oh my, what a queer scent. But I'd take it over the stench of blood and beasts any day. What is it then? I'm off during hunt, so if that's what you're here for, I'll leave you to your own devices. If that doesn't do it, come back in the morning, darling.
Okay, so she is the Lady of the Night. We definitely want her to come back to Udden's Chapel.
Thank goodness. You're a hunter, right? Might you know of a safe place?
Of course we do. So,
The night is long, and a very little of the incense left. Please, there must be some nice place to run off to.
So, the reason why we want her to come back to Udden's Chapel, and even if you've been deviating from my path, you've been sending people to Yusefka's clinic, you want to send her to Udden's Chapel, because if you follow her quest line, you will get one of the 3rd umbilical cords from her. We got one of them in the abandoned old workshop, and there's, as I mentioned, 4 of them in the game. So you can technically miss one of them and still be okay. But, as I said, I'm going to show you how to get all 4. So we definitely want her to go to Udden's Chapel.
Oh, thank you, darling. Maybe I'll see you there.
Okay. So, let's talk to this guy.
You're not from around here, are you? Well, an outsider who's come to join the hunt? What a pathetic idea. You what? What, you think I'm a beast? Well, maybe I think you're a beast. And step away from our castle. Oh, enough of you. What, you think this is funny? Well, I certainly don't, so be gone with you. I'll have nothing to do with your beast hunts. Well, what's this 2-bit nonsense you're peddling? I heard you told that wench about some shelter. Well, she's a damn fool to trust an outsider. All right? Well, her sort's probably just fixing to feed some of your coin. All right. What crafty lies does the outsider have today? You think I'm an easy mark? Yeah? Well, give me your best shot.
Okay, so this is what is known as the Skeptic. He will go to the opposite place of whatever you tell him. So if you tell him to go to Udden's Chapel, he's going to go to Yusefka's clinic. If you tell him to go to Yusefka's clinic, he's going to go to Udden's Chapel. He doesn't really have any major bearing on how the game plays out, but of course I told you I'm going to want to interact with all the NPCs just to show you what that looks like. So I'm going to tell him to go to Yusefka's clinic, but he's not going to believe us. So therefore he will actually go to Udden's Chapel despite what we told him.
Yeah, sorry. Too sharp for that bollocks. I know a superstition when I hear one. Outsiders. Even their lies are predictable.
Alrighty then. Suit yourself. Okay, so let's carry on. Beware, there's some ambushes in here. And you know that noise by now. Oops. He jumped at us. There we go. Let's get our visceral. Good old one shot. And of course a guy trying to shoot us, and this guy laying on the ground who's not really dead. Sneaky. Here's our guy with the gun. Let's go on and get him. And of course more people shooting at us from up there. So over here, we have some more poison knives. Good for us. And there's some more people to talk to. These guys aren't looking for shelter, so we're not going to send them to anywhere. They don't care.
For the church and all they do for us. The deepest, widest gratitude. Yes. Yes. Oh.
Okay. And over here, we have the Black Church garb. So, within the church, there were Black Church hunters and White Church hunters. So we just got the Black Church garb. Let's see what it has to say. Attire of the Healing Church hunters, the Holy Shawl, symbol of the Healing Church, flutters proudly on their backs. Most Healing Church hunters are elementary doctors who understand the importance of early prevention of the scourge, achieved by disposing of victims and even potential victims before signs of sickness manifest themselves. Their black attire is synonymous with fear and that peculiar Yharnam madness. So these hunters were a little bit preemptive in that, you know, even if they could tell that someone was about to get the scourge, even if they hadn't had it yet, they would go on and dispose of them just to keep them from becoming a beast in the first place. As far as the attire, I like actually the Black Church hat. Just kind of looks cool, I guess. So I put it on. That's the only piece of that attire that I really ever wear, though, is the hat. We'll keep the Charred Hunter gear on for now. So over here we got another person. Not going to send him anywhere. Doesn't want to go anywhere.
Praise you. Praise the old damn church. And best of luck hunting. Best luck of all.
Alright. Alright, so up here we got more enemies. Out here you're in the open and people can shoot at you, so best to stay over here. Is there another... No, there's not. I thought there was another... Oh, there he is. Knew I was going crazy. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Run over here. This guy. I think that's it for around here. Got some Quicksilver bullets. Get behind these coffins. Get some more thick cold blood. Let's get all the loot. And back here, you'll notice we've got another semi-transformed beast and a couple regular Yharnamites. Oops, I meant to do a jump attack. Let's do a charge attack. Wow. Got all three of them in one shot. Nice. That is where Ludwig's blade comes in handy, ladies and gentlemen. Just make sure we didn't miss anything down here. Not sure if there's any other items. Does not appear to be anything else. We got the Black Church set. And again, you can always do all of this before you get caught by a snatcher and go to Yahar'gul. So if you have that Black Church set, you don't need Gascoigne's garb to talk to the nun that we talked to. We got her to go back to Budge Chapel. Okay. Let's go up the ladder. It is a long ways up here. Alright. We're about to connect with where we just were a minute ago. So right here, we have another note. A watchman of Bergenworth guards the gate with the password, the sacred adage of the Grand Cathedral. So that place I told you that was currently a dead end, that's the guy that requires the password to proceed. We do not have the password yet, so we cannot go that way yet. So here we can drop down or use the ladder, whichever suits your fancy. I do not believe there's another item up here. So let's drop down. And let's drop down again. And here's an item, some Quicksilver bullets. And down here we already killed the dog. We already got the items down here. So there is some more stuff up there, and that's actually the pathway to the next boss. So we're not going to go up there quite yet. However, over here is another summoning point where we can summon an NPC. Currently, one of the enemies we already killed is kind of blocking it, so we'll get him out of the way. So this is what it looks like. You can summon if you want, and I believe it'll help you with the next boss. It'll also just help you clear out this area if you would like that as well. So we're gonna, before that, we're gonna go up this ladder. Actually, we're not going to summon the NPC, but feel free to. Up here, we have Numbing Mist. So Numbing Mist is an item that you can throw, and if it hits your target, it will keep them from healing. So the next boss actually has the capability to heal in one of its last phases. So we actually want to keep the boss from healing. So we're going to equip our Numbing Mist for that fight, and we're going to use it so that she cannot heal on us. So this looks deadly, but you can actually drop down and go on top of these roofs. And somewhere on here is an item. Here we go. The Black Messenger Hat. I believe that's just another one of the messenger attires. Yeah, a hat that the messengers are oddly fond of. So not really much use to that. Drop down here. I do not believe there's anything else for us, is there? No. Okay. So we are getting close to time, so we're going to run back to our chapel, and I think that'll be it for tonight. So here's where the nun is that we helped. Let's talk to her real quick.
Oh, brave hunter. You're alive. Thank you very much. The town is in disarray, but there are still people here. Together we await the help of the healing church. I cannot begin to express my gratitude to you. The only thing that I can offer is my own lowly blood, if it would suffice.
Alright, we're going to refuse that for now.
Forgive me, I should have known better. What would a brave hunter do with lowly blood like mine? Please, forget I even asked.
Okay. So the other people that we brought here are not here yet because we have to reload the area before they appear. So let's go back to the Hunter's Dream, and we're going to use the blood echoes that we have. Hopefully we'll be able to get another 2 levels, and that is where we're going to call it a day for this episode. Okay, here we are.
Welcome. Very well.
Okay, we're going to take another vitality, and then we can use some items to get us another level. So we need 6273. Alright, let's use some of... Let's use a tier 6. There we go, that got us there.
Welcome. Very well.
Okay, let's do strength. Alright. So, as I said, we're going to call it here. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you've been enjoying this series on Bloodborne and been finding the walkthrough very useful. If you like what you see, please don't forget to leave a like and also leave a comment. And, of course, the most important thing is to join the squad by subscribing to the channel. I appreciate all of your support, and I hope to see you in the next video.